Hey, 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 welcome to Wow, That's Nuts! Well, we just passed Memorial Day. Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day. Hope your wallet's recovering from all the holidays. You know, they seem to just... I feel like this country is obsessed with holidays. It's just one after the other.
No, this country is obsessed with any time that they can get food. I would know.
Just when your wallet's recovering from Christmas, it's time for birthdays, more holidays, God. Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day. Drink and eat. Drink and eat. That's what they tell you.
That's all it is. That's the shove is drink and eat, drink and eat. And then in our family, we have literally a birthday every week from March to May. Pretty much. Yeah.
So everyone involves a dinner. And more stuff in your face and emptying your wallet.
Oh, but you gotta have cake. I don't gotta have cake.
Gotta have cake for your birthday.
No. Instead of holidays, holiday dinners, we should start holiday marathons, birthday marathons.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Instead of taking me out for my birthday, take me to the track. Take me for a marathon.
Take me running. That's what I want for my birthday.
I actually came across, speaking of making fun of yourself, I came across this video last week, and it was talking about how if you say things about yourself, they become true. I'm like, well, what are you supposed to do? Sit around and cry and boo-hoo about it? Like, this is where I'm at in life. We laugh at these things now. Like, before these things used to cripple me, and now I'm like, this is funny. Like, this is part of life.
That's the way you have to look at it.
Yeah.
Making fun of yourself, often called self-deprecating humor, is a complex and social psychological tool that can boost likability and resilience when used in moderation, but may indicate a low self-esteem or damage credibility if overused. It acts as a way to show confidence by owning one's flaws, making the speaker appear more relatable, humble, and approachable.
That's me.
I mean,
that's the definition of me you just read.
Yeah, if you can't laugh at your faults and shortcomings, what are you doing? You know, that's the way. I feel
it's not you are what you talk about. It's you are what you eat.
No, but I feel like that's one thing we've learned as we got older. Like when we were younger, we were so worried about being cool and pleasing everybody, and now it's more about like what makes sense.
Yeah. And being a size 4 during perimenopause does not make any sense. First of all, not only does it not make sense, I know what it would take to get there, and I'm not going back to those days. Starving yourself, eating salads for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm all set.
I feel like it's about being humble.
Yep. Speaking of humble, I saw an interview with Michael Jackson's mom, Catherine, and she was talking about how every time that Michael Jackson did any type of performance, that his security would get kind of aggressive, and I guess there was like a point where he was one of the security people were trying to say, like, I don't know if they did or they were talking about what they were going to do to the people if they came close to him, and Michael was like, no, you can't treat them like that. You don't treat people like that. I guess he was like, those are people, they're human beings, and we're not going to do that. And she said that he was humble like that about his talent up until the day he died. Like, he didn't see himself really the way everybody else did.
Well, yeah, he may have had a lot of other demons, but at least he had humility. That's a good thing.
He definitely had some demons, though. I mean, I don't think people... You know what I've discovered? People don't want to talk about these things about him because it will ruin our childhood. If we actually talked about what we saw, what we really saw with him, and like what was really going on, and like even the slight things we saw that were like, okay, that's not normal. It cancels out our childhood completely because he was like the biggest part of our childhood. I was a dancer for 18 years, so all of our routines were based off of like his moves, and like his music was, it's irreplaceable. Nobody will ever come close to that type of talent. Yeah. But as we know, as you and I know, just even seeing it on a local level, national level, we saw people that are really that talented sometimes have like a really dark side to them.
Yeah.
It's since the beginning of time.
I mean, it's one of those situations where you have to separate the artist from the art, like
Yes.
to appreciate it. Like we're obviously big fans of his music. The goings on at the ranch, not so much.
Yeah, like obviously you do not sleep in a bed or even in the same room with somebody else's children. Like that's just like as a grown man, you know that. You already know that you don't do that. You don't make excuses for it. You just don't do that because like wouldn't you assume that someone's going to make allegations for even setting it up like that? Like
well, he was abused as a kid, so that's that kind of I would assume that's where that behavior came from.
Yeah, there was more than just physical abuse going on in that family too, because LaToya talked about it, and then I think she was on one of those shows in the '80s where she actually talked about it, and then I think they pretty much paid her off to say that never happened, but there was sexual abuse going on with Joe. He was a monster. That man was an absolute, like he should have been thrown behind bars.
Yeah, and there's people that stick up for Michael and say that it didn't happen, but I mean, based on how many accusations there's got to be some truth to some of the stuff that supposedly went on.
Look at the things we actually saw, right? Remember the 2020 interview? That interview really was insane. And one could say, oh, well, they just took certain clips of him being the most insane and put that into the whole interview. But there was enough clips to be like, what is this man on? He was throwing his kid about to throw the kid off the rail, was dangling the kid off the rail. He lied about having plastic surgery, which was I remember being a kid watching that and being like, that's incredible. He was like, no, it's not true. You can't listen to the lies. I didn't do nothing in my face. And like his face is like, his nose is like barely on his face at that point. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he's sitting there lying about having any plastic surgery done. And what was that interviewer's name?
Barbara Walters?
No, it was the guy. I can't think of his name right now. He just kept pushing. He was pressing it. He's like, Michael, you're really going to sit there? So I'm smart enough to know, especially in my field of work, that if you lie about those things, you're lying about a lot of things in life.
He probably had people working with and for him telling him what to say too, so that you got to take that into consideration.
Yes, but I mean, how are you do you think you're that much above the world that you can say something like that and we're all going to believe you because you're Michael Jackson? Well, yeah, that's the delusion. Like
no one has really achieved that level of fame, so no one can really say what you would do in that situation.
Well, I wouldn't be. One thing speaking of things we all saw, is I wouldn't be smacking my crotch every 5 seconds like I can't control it on dance moves. Like nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about like smacking. He had to smack his crotch. If you watch it got worse through time too. The more
we grew up watching that man smack his crotch on TV, and we wonder why we're messed up.
We grew up watching him whack off in front of the entire world.
I don't know about that, but it was a strange move to incorporate into all your dances. Smacking your crotch.
I'd say.
Do you think he had a spider in his underwear one day, and he smacked his crotch? He was like, "Ow!" And then somebody was like, "Do that again," and he was like, "Ow!" And then they were like, "Yeah, keep doing that for another 15 years." That's the key to success, right there. The old crotch smack. He even had didn't he have a uniform that had like a
shield?
A shield on his crotch? He had to protect himself from himself. If he didn't wear that crotch guard, his genitals would be sore.
You've been struck by, entertained by my sore genitals.
That's terrible, man. I feel I mean, despite all the stuff that he did, I feel bad for him because he was abused, and then he was super famous, and nobody knows how you would react with all of that as being part of your upbringing in your childhood, and not to mention being a child star. Like that alone messes up people all the time.
Did you see Leaving Neverland?
No.
Okay. Anybody that I know saw it.
Let me just say, I also feel bad for his victims, not just him. The whole situation sucks.
Well, now you can't see Leaving Neverland because they scrubbed it from the internet. They
Really?
they sued HBO because HBO, they had some sort of contract that nobody could talk about these allegations, and they put it out anyway. So now you can't even see it. But I saw it. Julie saw it, our friend Julie, and I remember we were both talking about it, and we were both like, he did it. Like, and again, if this is my opinion, if you watched, and based on, like I said, my line of work, when I see people all day long talking about lies and
all day dong.
Oh my God, it's awful. But if you watched them tell the story, James Safechuck and Wade Robinson, I think that's his name. If you watch their reactions and their facial expressions, like they're not making this up. I'm sorry. Anybody that wants to, once again, we go back to people do not want to believe that he did this. They don't want to believe it at all. So that's the end of it. They just shut it down completely.
Yeah.
And if it was anybody else, we'd be listening to the victims. And there's so many at this point.
Do you think Thriller is really about him being like having a monster inside of him?
Yep.
I think so too. I think that's coded lyricism.
Yep.
Yeah, coded lyricism refers to songwriting that uses ambiguous poetry, hidden metaphors, or specialized references rather than direct diaristic language, requiring listeners to interpret meaning. It serves as a tool for creating deeper, lasting narratives and can be used to navigate social restrictions or discuss complex personal or political topics. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of that going on in a lot of his lyrics. And not only Thriller, I mean, a lot of his other lyrics had some rage in them. Like there was what was that video where he was like beating up, like had a tire iron and he was beating up a car.
Do you remember we were watching that? It came out like on a Sunday night. It was like a Sunday night special. And we were all in the living room like this.
Why is he doing that?
And he just kept grabbing his crotch. That was the time that I was like, I remember being a kid being like, why is he smacking himself like that?
Was that The Way You Make Me Feel? Is that what the song was?
I don't know. I just remember it was so over the top. He just kept going, ah!
And then smashing the car. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they took that part of the video out after it came out because they got some backlash on it. I might be wrong about that, but
yeah.
I think they shortened the video because it had like a long intro where he was just like beating stuff up.
He just kept
going nuts.
He just kept going, and then he'd smash something else in the car. Like, we were sitting there like this. I think Dad said something like, yep, the man's definitely touched.
Yeah. Sounds like something Dad
would say. Yep. Oh God.
Yeah,
but
he was probably spanked as a child too.
Oh, well, he definitely was. He said it there's an interview of him talking about how Joe Jackson, his father, they weren't allowed to call him Dad ever. His name was Joseph in the whole family. Everybody had to call him Joseph. Janet got her rear end beat because she called him Dad one time. This man was like beyond evil. And he'd find anything to whip him with, Michael said. Like he'd find like electrical cords, like anything he could get his hands on.
I mean, obviously that's the extreme, but back in that time, I think spanking your kids was kind of normal, wasn't it?
Spanking your kids was normal, but not beating them with
No, that's why I'm saying that's extreme. But,
yeah.
But I think back in the 80s and probably before that, spanking your kids was kind of normal.
Well, this is why all of us Gen X are all messed up. We all got spanked. Yeah. And it was scary because they've actually done studies recently that showed that do we have info on that? But anyway, they did studies showing that when you're spanked like that as a kid, and that's like your parents, that's like your, the people you look up to for safety, and they're the ones doing it, it instills fear and it makes you like really insecure as you get older.
I've never spanked my kids. Does anyone ever do that anymore?
Yeah. If you go on TikTok, you'll see people getting arrested for it.
Really?
Yeah, there's people that still do this in public and think it's okay because it was generational. Like
in America?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, other countries definitely still spank their kids. But, yeah, I mean, people like they obviously don't have self-control and they don't have patience. And when a kid sees that, it leaves them really confused.
Draven came up to me the other day. He was like, Dad, I want to do voice acting. I was like, oh, God. The first thing that came to my mind was everything out there is... I just don't trust anybody because everything is a scam and there's predators out there. Like, I'm just going to put him with a random person that's supposedly a professional that's going to like give him a voice acting job. I don't know. It scares the crap out of me.
Look at what happened to people like Justin Bieber. I mean, that's horrible.
Well, that was P. Diddy, right?
Yeah, Usher apparently introduced him to, or sent him off to P. Diddy, like a sick, predatory cult, and that ruined that messed up that kid. You can actually watch that kid's progression as he started off in that industry and like what he became, and now he's like he actually sang. Do you know that he sang a song about Jesus at Coachella a few weeks ago?
Really?
I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
So, yeah, he was another child star, but apparently it seems like he went through a tough phase, but he's kind of working his way out of it.
Why are there so many crumb bums in that industry?
It's definitely the industry, I feel like, with the most crumb bums. The entertainment industry is just filled with them.
Why? Why is everyone so messed up? They're all on drugs, drinking, perverts.
Perverts. You're a pervert. Get out of here. I was just listening to an interview with John Fogerty from Creedence Clearwater Revival, and he was talking about how the record label that he signed with initially when he was younger stole all of his money, and he had to like fight to get it back, and it was years and years of lawsuits and all this crap. It sucks, man. It's so many artists have been taken advantage of over the years by record labels and just creeps in the industry. Yeah.
That's why I look back at the time that we got signed and it didn't happen, and I know that was like God's favor in our life. He didn't want us going into that industry. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
thank God.
Yeah. It would have screwed us up for sure.
Yeah, probably.
Now we just live in New England and making fun of New England and about ourselves and everything else we can think of.
Speaking of New England, there's a song that's really serious, and going back to the voice acting thing, when you're a voice actor, you really have to nail your character, or else it kind of ruins the thing. Imagine how the New England accent would ruin a lot of like songs and parts in movies and things like that. It made me think of what it would sound like if Celine Dion was a Rhode Island construction worker. So I think we should do a little song about that. Da 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 dum. Da 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 dum. Every night in my dreams I see a large coffee. That is what I'll have when I wake up. Then I hear realized Mo from The Simpsons sounds like a Rhode Island construction worker because that's who I sounded like right there.
Yep, and I sounded like Lois from Family Guy.
What happened to the rest of the stuff here? Is that all we had?
Yep.
We were going to end with this song?
Yep. What happened to the rest of the
I
stuff?
thought we had more stuff after the song.
Nope.
All right.
I think that was the end. Da 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 da.
That's all, folks.
Da da.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.